My talk is about Reanalysis for wind energy, but primarily it's a proposal for collaboration. So, in my talk, I'll go through who we are, what we do for a living, and how Reanalysis data are important to the projects we work for. And I will set the focus on a recent workshop held in Denmark, where we connected with global and regional Reanalysis communities and discussed collaboration work streams. And finally, I will tell you how, from a very practical perspective, you can get involved, and we are very happy to connect after the meeting with you guys. So we are doing this work within the International Energy Agency Wind Technology Collaboration Program, which has been for the last 40 years the go-to research program for wind energy applications. Yes. So who we are? I'm doing this together with a group of practitioners from wind, marine, power grid, and academia communities. Myself, I am an offshore wind engineer. I'm here together with Jakob from Denmark as well, who works with marine engineering. And in the group, Justin is our colleague representing the power sector, and Julia and Roger are leading scientists from world-leading wind energy labs in Europe, in Denmark and Germany. So Reanalysis matters. It matters to many sectors, but in particular to us, building wind farms and designing power grids. Believe it or not, these datasets are, and as you have explained, Indira, necessary for the success of this project, both commercially and also technically. These infrastructure projects are inherently weather-driven for their design and operations, and for that, many datasets are used either directly or downscaled. We're using them, for example, in my case, for characterizing offshore wind conditions, not only wind, but also wave, water level, and currents. They are used for, as you explained, predicting wind farm production on the long term and on the short term. And they are used for planning weather-dependent power grids. These are only a few examples. Going back to offshore wind, in Europe and many other regions in the world, offshore wind is to become, and has already become, a major source of power supply. Wind itself in Europe is estimated to be accounting for about more than half of the energy supply in the next decades. So it's a really important discussion for us to be having with you going forward. You can see a map here where every colored area is either a planned or an already existing offshore wind farm. Most of them will get built, and we are working on it every day. When it comes to power grid, I was very pleased to see that you referred to Justin's report. I texted Justin and he sends the regards to you. He's super happy to see that this report is making its way through your communities. It's an excellent report. It's a must read if you want to understand the relevance of your data sets for power grid planning. This is not my field of expertise, but you should feel free to contact him for more information. All right. Success story. I mean, why am I even here to tell you this? Everybody knows that Reanalysis datasets are important. But somewhat an organic success story, in a sense that things happen just because they did, and there was no planned collaboration, no master plan, and in a sense, a very organic journey. So going forward, we would like to make sure that this continues to be a success story. And the questions we are having today are basic questions. Engineers are very simple people. We just want to know what's coming up. Will we keep getting the quality we are getting? What is coming up? Where? What data set? What fields? At which elevations? At which resolution? Will these known biases, as you explained, we know those data sets are inherently biased for many reasons. Will they get fixed? And whose job is it to fix them? After that, downstream for the applications, who takes care of the applicability checks and validations of these data sets? So we are extremely interested into those topics, and this is the reason why we connected with the Reanalysis community earlier this year in Denmark, where we invited a range of the people from regional and also, of course, global Reanalysis producers. we met all together to discuss primarily 3 different items. Improve access and documentation to the existing data sets, making sure that your Reanalysis is on our map, it is, but many other data sets maybe were not at that stage. Second item was to, of course, promote and foster the validation of these data sets, making sure that they are used for the right things and that you would know what they are being used for primarily. Yeah. And as a third item, we wanted to stand out, the small group and myself, as a point of contact for future collaboration. As we heard from the participants, the theme succeeded in a few aspects, and we are very pleased for that. We spoke about Reanalyses for about a day and a half, and I believe that the people who were there warmly felt support from the wind energy community to you guys and to your programs and to your work. There's immense respect and immense recognition for the work you are doing. So we first of all connected people on a personal level, which I think is very important also going forward. And after that, we summarized the state of the art of the Reanalysis analysis. We agreed on follow-up actions, which is above all the most important. We went out after the meeting and initiated testing of ERA 6 experiment. It's actually ongoing at the moment together with the center. We have kept communities until now up to date through a newsletter via social media. And we have been making sure that the people who needed to collect requirements from their users could do so via several workshops, in particular with the folks at NOAA, who are going to update their seasonal forecasting system. You mentioned it, or was it you or someone else? We've got data. And of course, wind energy has had in the past a bad reputation of not sharing anything and being super opaque and not willing to cooperate. I believe this is changing with the appearance of publicly available data sets of very high quality. So we've put together a catalog which we use ourselves for our work, and what we are happy to share with you. It's a global catalog of publicly available data set, and we have already started to work on some of them together with the center. Now, it's important for me to make you understand how you can get involved. And that's the primary reason why myself and Jacob are here, is to connect with you at a personal level and maybe at the group level with your program managers and your colleagues who are interested into applications of your data sets. So if you're doing Reanalysis, we would like to let you know that you could always come back to us at any time of the day for asking for user requirements. We're always happy to explain what we do, to share our findings, and to let you know what we expect from your data sets. If you want to validate your model results, you can take the example of the work we do with the center. Within a few weeks, we can turn back some validation results over any domain you may want, using those publicly available data sets. And of course, planning for the next steps. Many Reanalysis data sets are in the making, and we're keen to be involved as what we are, meaning as end users. If you are using Reanalysis, on the other hand, we also want to make sure that people go out and talk to you, provide their user requirements, that they don't sit and wait and expect that things will just happen by magic. And we want them to know what's coming up. So as a sector, we believe that data sharing and information sharing is something very important, and beyond the commercial interest that we each other may have in our individual companies. There's a sector-wide interest to understand MERA 3, MERA 4, ERA 6, and every other new Reanalysis that's coming up, like Icon Dream, Bara 3, you name it, all of them. As we explained, there are some particular items that require attention, some particular known biases in some regions of the world where we are trying to make sure that these are being addressed and reported to you guys. So it's that simple as sending us an email or giving us a phone call, really. The community is very diverse, and those of you who have interacted with the wind energy community may have felt that it's a bit of a difficult network to get into. We are very small companies. I'm myself working for a 12 people company, but we are working with every single offshore developer in the world. Together with Jacob and Justin and Julia and Roger, we have access to a network of a few hundreds of people within research, within industry. And to us, it's very important that if you want to do so, take the step of coming and discussing with us. In the case where you want to follow this initiative without necessarily coming and talking to us, you can sign up for this newsletter on LinkedIn. And that's the place where we keep people updated about some of the actions that I have explained. And that was my last slide. I would like to thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very pleased to be here and look forward to discussing with you.